Where did we stop in the last class? Complete online students, are you able to listen to me? Online students, holiday yesterday. Comfortable? Where did we stop in the last class? I were absent yesterday. So institute problem. Migration, what do you mean by migration? Migration. Movement of people from one place to another place, or residing away from their place of birth. Okay. Which factors contribute to the migration? We have two factors, isn't it? Push factors and pull factors. Push factors are those factors which will tend to move people away from their place of residence. Or pull factors are nothing but which attract people, isn't it? Push factors example: poverty, unemployment, lesser standard of living, isn't it? What about the example for pull factors? Better infrastructure, socio-economic infrastructure, then employment opportunities, better standard of living. Okay, good life, good standard of living. Then how many types of migration are there? 4 types: rural to rural, rural to urban, urban to rural, and urban to urban. Which is the most widespread? Rural to rural, especially with respect to females. Okay, with the help of marriage, social institutions. And what about male migration is dominated by rural to urban in search of employment. Then what all can be done to, do we have positive impacts of migration? Do we have any positives because of migration? Can you name them? Remittances. Remittances means economic returns which people send back their home. Okay, economic remittances which India is the largest receiver of remittances in the world, and Kerala is the #1 state, because most of the Keralites, they go to Arab countries in search of work. In return, they send the amount back. Okay, it has got multiplier effect. For example, multiplier effect andre enu? When you are educated, your family will be good, alva. Your surrounding parts, counterparts, your parents, your siblings, their life will be better until and unless you are not jealous enough, isn't it? So in a multiplier effect, we'll have multiplier effect. When they send back amount to their parents, what will happen? They will invest in their health, in their proper nutrition, isn't it? If they have siblings, they will invest in their education, their marriage. Okay, so entire upliftment of the family. This is called as multiplier effect. Okay, multiplier effect is very important. Use that word in names whenever it comes. Okay, you can use it. Like how drought has got multiplier effect on everything. Yesterday we discussed, isn't it? Then we discussed about different causes, isn't it? Economic causes, political causes, social causes, then ecological causes. Nowadays in news because of natural hazards. For example, Western Ghats, Kodagu people they want to relocate, isn't it? Because we don't know when the floods will occur. Today house will be there, then the next morning house will not be there. Landslides, if landslides happen, that was happened in Coorg and Kerala floods, isn't it? Then what must the government do to arrest this? To reduce the impact of migration? Suggest your own measures, okay? Nothing is wrong. Positive idaga ಏನೋ suggestions ಕೊಡಬಹುದು. You think like that. So what can be done? Economic opportunities, localized economic opportunities, startups, supporting startups, then rural development, obviously good. Rural development, link madi. Yesterday we didn't discuss this. He is telling, good. Rural development, how do we develop? Narega gota. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. So yesterday on news, only in rural areas. Okay, if you put it in like people are demanding it in urban areas also. You know what is social security program? Okay, people who don't have job, then they'll get how many days of work? 100 days of minimum 100 days of work. And manual unskilled work. This is manual unskilled work. Okay, it is the largest livelihood program in the world. It has achieved many success. It's very good. And one important thing with Narega is it has got social audit. Social audit andre gota? What do you mean by social audit? Audit andre eno? What do you mean by audit? Just checking. Normally, for example, bank audit or company audit andre eno? How much income it has got, how it has been spent and balance sheet na check ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Balance sheet you will study in economy. Okay, checking the balance sheet is nothing but audit. Okay, for example, this institute, how much money it is getting. For example, frauds and it will come into limelight, isn't it? So audit model. One more thing is your social audit is very important in Narega. Social audit means anybody can go and check the files. Proper ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. With the help of RTE, it is performing better. Okay, then what can be done? Government measures. Obviously, government will ask you. UPSC for future aspirants or future civil servants. Obviously, you have to provide solutions. And any more suggestions from your side? Keep thinking. Okay. News keep that in mind or write it somewhere. Add it whenever time comes. Okay. Nothing is wrong here. Then, sorry. The negative impacts of migration. Negative impacts of migration. Brain drain. Yesterday we studied, isn't it? Brain drain. Intellectuals, highly intellectuals are moving away from the country in search of better life opportunities, isn't it? They are working for some other countries. Though they are sending back remittances, it's not going to work. Okay. Then take the example of Sundar Pichai. Is he sending entire amount to his parents? No, right? Like that. Then brain drain. Okay. Then development of slums. Because urban sprawl will happen with the help of because of migration, isn't it? Urban sprawl. Yesterday we discussed unregulated development of urban areas. Okay, then food insecurity. Obviously, food is again linked to nutritional insecurity. When food is lacking, means nutrition will be lacking. Both can be added. Food and nutritional insecurity. Then more ecological damage, more pressure on the environment. Then Encroachment in rural areas. In urban areas. The urban sprawl include. Then that's it. Maximum 4 to 5 points is necessary. Get ready with your answers for about 150 words. Okay, whatever might be the topic. Okay, 150 words are serious. You don't have to break your heads. Okay, for everything, positive, negative, and your conclusion. That is the art of writing answers. 150. La Nino, 150 words. El Nino, 150 words. Though the complex, the question is huge. For example, El Nino, you can write for around 600 words, 1000 words. Multiplier effect, monsoon effect, but you should reduce it to the maximum 150 words. If you take the example of, did you check last mains KS papers? KS papers? Huh? KS mains paper, the GS 1, 2, 3, 4. Check. Do you have any regularity with respect to questions? You don't have a regularity with respect to questions. Some questions are given for 20 marks, some for 10 marks, some for 15 marks. 20 marks questions. You will not be knowing more than 100 words. Then you should use your skill there. 10 marks question. You can write for 500 words. It's a mismatch. Then there lies your talent. You have to reduce it. You know more information. You should know what to write. For example, if they ask you regarding positive and negative impacts of migration, positive impacts will first the remittances. If you write rest of the points, will not get marks. So you should have that intelligence to write it. Similarly, with the help of negative impacts, first thing you should write is brain drain. So that bit will not get marks. Okay, have that mindset. Prepare for 150 words. Okay, that's more than enough. Apart from essay, ethically you need more words. Ethics case studies, 400, 300, 4 words are studied, but that question will demand more answer and you can write it there. So it's not a problem. Okay, prepare for 150 marks, either KPSC or UPSC. That's more than enough. Okay. Next, what did we study yesterday? Rest of the things. Topic now. Population. We studied about different stages, isn't it? Population trap. What do you mean by demographic dividend? In India, we consider in between 15 years to 59 years. Okay, I've said to you yesterday, don't get confused. Some books, websites, if they give it as 59, don't get worried. Okay, what I've given you is UN definition, United Nations definition. So if you write that, it will not be wrong. Okay, so if you write it for 15 to 64 on the bracket UN, in India, we consider for 15 years to 59 years. That's well and good. Okay, is it fine? Next, La Nino, El Nino, how it impacts monsoon. You were writing something, isn't it, yesterday? Huh? It brings warmer phase is called as warmer phase of what is called as El Nino? El Nino Southern Oscillation. Isn't it? ENSO. El Nino Southern Oscillation means it is a scientific term which is used to define the fluctuations in the temperature between ocean and atmosphere. Is it fine? Then warmer phase is called El Nino and cooler phase is called as La Nino. Okay. Don't break your heads. Just concentrate on few important points. Okay, note down. Normal monsoon agitala. El Nino situation. El Nino situation. What are the effects? First point in that, El Nino. Off the coast of Peru. Off the coast of Peru. Off the coast of Peru, there is normally cool surface water. Cool surface water. Because of why water is cool there? Peru current. Good. Because of cold Peruvian current. Because of cold Peruvian current. Full stop. But El Nino makes it. But El Nino makes it go warm. But El Nino makes it go warm. Full stop. Next point. Points. When the water becomes warm, what will happen now? The trade winds. It affects trade winds, isn't it? When the water becomes warm, the trade winds, which otherwise flow from east to west, either reverse their direction, or get lost, or they get lost. Next point. Due to this warm water, the air pressure above Eastern Pacific means near South America. Okay. The air pressure above Eastern Pacific reduces. Full stop. On the other hand, the waters cool off. In Western Pacific and of Asia OFF. Full stop. This leads to rise in surface pressure. Over the Indian Ocean. Come on. Indonesia. And Australia. Full stop. Next point. As the pressure over Peruvian coast reduces, the flow of moisture laden winds, is directed to the Peruvian coast, from Western Pacific. Full stop. Hence the moisture laden winds. That should have that should have moved towards Indian coast, that should have moved towards Indian coast, will now move towards Peruvian coast. Full stop. The warm water causes heavy rains in Peruvian desert. Heavy rains in Peruvian desert during El Nino years. During El Nino years. Last point. This robs the Indian subcontinent of its share in the monsoon rains. Full stop. This leads to drought situation. This leads to drought situations in India. Full stop. The greater the temperature and pressure difference, the greater the temperature and pressure difference, the greater would be shortage of rainfall in India. The greater would be shortage of rainfall in India. Next heading, La Nino. Detailed version in Attaita helps you. La Nino. La Nina. It's also called anti-El Nino, but it's opposite phase, isn't it? Anti-El Nino. That is cooling of water in Eastern Pacific Ocean. That is cooling of water in Eastern Pacific Ocean. Note down first point in that. The water in the Eastern Pacific, the water in the Eastern Pacific, which is otherwise cool, gets colder than normal, full stop. There is no reversal of trade winds. Full stop. There is no reversal of trade winds, but it causes strong high pressure over the Eastern Equatorial Pacific. over the eastern equatorial Pacific. Next point. On the other hand, the low pressure is caused over low pressure is caused over Western Pacific and of Asia. Next point, La Nino has caused droughts in Ecuador and Peru. Ecuador, ECUADOR. Above Peru we have Ecuador country, and below Peru we have Chile. Droughts in Ecuador and Peru. Full stop. Heavy floods are witnessed in Australia. Heavy floods are witnessed in Australia, and it brings good rains in India. Note on there, periodicity. Small star haki periodicity. How often it will repeat on the this distortion in pressure and temperature. Occurs every 4 to 5 years. Occurs every 4 to 5 years, but it may not happen exactly. After 4 to 5 years. After 4 to 5 years. Or it may not happen at all. The periodicity is just quite uncertain. The periodicity is uncertain. We don't know. Effects of El Nino. La Nino, you not have to worry about effects because it is bringing in good monsoon to India. Okay, so effects of La Nino. Yesterday I have read some article. La Nino, this year is termed as La Nino because we are experiencing more rains, so we can experience more cold also this December. Part of La Nino, that's why we are experiencing more rains. Impact of El Nino or effects of El Nino. Let's study this. Yesterday only we have read this. Now what is the trend now? Trend earlier Earlier, we were expecting students to draw diagrams, maps. We expected students to include maps in the answer writing. Now, UPSC is expecting to write flowcharts. Okay, map andre not every question will demand map. Okay, but you should be innovative to write flowcharts. We will study today. Okay, try to include it in as many questions as possible. If you have around 50 to 60 mind maps or flowcharts in your mind name, it's easier for you to implement in exam. Exam alone things madakagadilla. Flowchart should be ready for you. Okay, their mind map should be ready for you within yourself. Then only you can implement. Okay, so let's study this. So impact of El Nino, if they ask you, you can write it in a flow chart instead of writing in words. Okay, write it in a flow chart. Let's study this. Okay, so impact. Write down. El Nino brings drought like situation in India because of deficiency of rainfall. Deficiency of rainfall. Give this one sentence. Okay, one sentence. Next, start with the flow chart. Okay, El Nino droughts. El Nino will bring droughts. Okay, next, how drought will occur? You can write here El Nino less rainfall. One diagram nodi takshana ella artha agbidabeku. That's the idea. El Nino, because of El Nino, we are experiencing droughts. Okay, then how it affects economy will barkondu hogana, farmers will barkondu hogana. That's the idea. Farmers will face problems. Nothing is wrong in UPSC. Okay, nothing is wrong. Okay, everything will be appreciated. Droughts, farmers will face problems. Why? India depends on monsoon. India depends on monsoon for agriculture. Isn't it? Next, here economy. Economy issues. GDP reduces. GDP reduces. Then what will happen? Food inflation, food shortage, and this leads to, since there is huge demand and inflation. Food inflation. Then and add more for the next two. Farmers will face problems. This leads to suicide, farmer suicide. Agata. Baradra tanalapa, writer saitaradu. Most of the people will die. Farmer suicide. Which farmers will commit suicide? Small and marginal farmers who own less than 1.5 acres of land. Small and marginal. We have different farmers. Small farmers, marginal farmers, big farmers, large farmers who own less land. Okay. So food shortage and inflation RBI will intervene. Isn't it? RBI will tell the government to have tight monetary policy. Tight monetary policy. You can write like this. Include any, if you feel any point as necessary, you can add that. There are 6-7 points. Use it as a diagram. Okay, is it clear? You can copy this. This is my innovation. You can write your own innovation. That's the idea. You can write your own innovations. Explanation andre people are UPSC is demanding more innovativeness from students actually now. Okay, yeah. If you look at toppers answer scripts, most of it first rank nodi. Look at the answer scripts. Most of the questions, at least 5-6 questions, flow charts. Okay, not everyone will be knowing Use your skills, innovation. At least use this method for around 5 to 6 questions out of 20 questions. Ethics alla innu chana use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. Ethics ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Flow charts. Just like during school days when you used to learn, ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕತೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮೂಲಕ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಹುಲಿ ಬಂತು ನರಿ ಬಂತು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದು ಹಂಗೆ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ದಟ್ ಇನ್ನೋವೇಷನ್. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆನಾ UPSC ಈ ತರ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ? ಡೋಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ UPSC ಆಸ್ ಫೂಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಹೋಗಿ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನೇಷನ್ ಹಾಕ್ಸ್ಕೊಂತಾರ ಈಗ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ? ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಇನೋವೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ತರ. ಸ್ವಚ್ಛ ಭಾರತ್ ಅಭಿಯಾನ್ಗೆ nobody started using toilets. Toilets were constructed at a faster place. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರಲ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಟಾಯ್ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತಲ್ವಾ ರೂರಲ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಗೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ದರ್ವಾಜಾ ಬಂದ್ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪೇನ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನೋ ಮಾಡುದು ನೆನ್ಪಿದ್ಯಾ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಶೇಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದವ್ರನ್ನ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? ಟಾಯ್ಲೆಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋದವ್ರನ್ನ ಶೇಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನೋವೇಟಿವ್ನೆಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಬರುತ್ತಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರಾ? If you think like civil servant from the day one of your preparation, then you will be a better civil servant. ಏನಾ ಕಳ್ಳನ್ ಹೆಂಗಿಡಿಯೋದು? ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ವಾಟರ್ ಕ್ರೈಸಿಸ್. shortage of water, how it is going to affect shortage of water? It is again about multiplier effect. Fisheries sector will hit alla. Fisheries sector ಮತ್ತೆ hydroelectricity ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಲ್ವಾ? Water crisis, no shortage of water because of drought, lesser rainfall, less water in dams, isn't it? Lesser hydroelectricity. Karnataka major electricity is produced hydroelectricity. Karnataka, if you take the energy profile of Karnataka, but in India it is thermal. But in Karnataka we are blessed with fast running rivers. Okay, we have more than 52%, sorry 47% of Karnataka's electricity is produced by hydroelectricity. In fishing sector, we know that fisheries, they depend on marine fisheries just in inland fisheries just in inland fisheries. Marine fisheries means via ocean. Okay, so inland fisheries contribute more to the fisheries sector and more fish catch in the inland waters. Which all contributes to inland waters? Rivers, streams, canals, dams, alva, creeks, channels, lakes, ella kade ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? Fishes. So when there is water, then problem for fisheries also. Done. Shall I erase this? For example, ethics also you can use. Okay, what do you mean by ethics and morals ಅಂತಂದಾಗ ethics, values, I'll tell you. No diagram ಹಾಕೋದು. It's not my subject, then also I'm teaching you. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಡೌಟ್ ಐತೇನಾದ್ರು? ethics ನಾ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? ethics, difference between ethics and values ಅಂತಂದಾಗ I will tell you. Values means nothing but the things which you internally believe. Values, honesty, integrity. I am honest to my work. I'll come at 9 o'clock correct ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. I will not cross the traffic signal. This is honesty. ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ ರಾಂಗ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇವಾಗ ಇದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಫೋಟೋ ತೆಗಿತೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ನೀವು ಆಂಬುಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಬಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೀಚ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ 9 AM. 8:30ಗೆ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ನೀನು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸರಿ ಲೈಫ್ ನ ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ ಅಥವಾ ಗೋ ಟು ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಂದಾಗ ವಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಯುವರ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್? ಲೈಫ್ ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಾ? ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನೋಬಡಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಂಬುಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೋ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ವಯಬಲ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಅದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಲೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀನಿ, 1 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೊಂದು UPSC ಕರೀತಾರೆ, KPSC 2 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, 2 ವರ್ಷ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀವ. ಬಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್. ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ ರೈಟ್ ಅಂತಂದಾಗ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಸೊ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ, ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ, ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾರಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಓಕೆ, ಕೀಪ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್, ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಲೇಟರ್. ಡೈಲಿ ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ 2 to 3 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್. ನಾಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, at least write 2 to 3 answers daily. First Monday, Tuesday history ಬರೆಯೋದು, ಆಮೇಲೆ geography one day. Okay, pick 2 to 3 questions, keep writing. Any doubt in this? Next, what can be done to contain this? ಎಲ್ಲಿನೋ ಇಂದ ನಮ್ಗೇನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿನೋ ಇಂದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ. See, one question was asked, I think. Which of the following sectors can possibly be affected by the onset of El Nino? Okay, food processing sector, irrigation sector, power sector. All the three, alla akka, isn't it? Food processing, how? Drought idag, how will you get food processing? Food produce agala andaga in processing ella agutte. Irrigation sector, obviously more than 50% is dependent on irrigation. Power sector, as we already know. Consider the following statements. El Nino is caused due to occurrence of warm current off the coast of Peru. Okay, El Nino is caused due to occurrence of warm current off the coast of Peru. Second one, La Nino is caused due to occurrence of cold current off the coast of Australia. Which one is correct? First one itself is correct. Warm current coast of Peru. Cold current avella nodidiva Australia kade cold current anta helilla. So only option 1 is correct. So what can be done? For example, El Nino ide, drought ide, what can be the solutions to the farmers? Drought na contain ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ? Drought solutions ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದಾ? Solutions ಏನು ಕೊಡೋದು? ಏನೇನು solutions ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? Drought ನ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ El Nino ide drought ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So what will you tell? ಏನಪ್ಪ ಹೇಳಿ, ಯಾವುದು ತಪ್ಪಲ್ಲ. ವಾಟರ್ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಹೇಳಿ ನೋಡೋಣ. ವಾಟರ್ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ಓಕೆ, ವಾಟರ್ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ರೂಫ್ ಟಾಪ್ ಎರಡು ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ವಾ? ರೂಫ್ ಟಾಪ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ರನ್ ಅವೇ ವಾಟರ್ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಕೃಷಿ ಹೊಂಡ ಗೊತ್ತಿದಲ್ಲ, ರನ್ ಅವೇ ವಾಟರ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್, drought tolerant crops. Can we grow drought tolerant crops? Example, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದಕ್ಕೂ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. Drought tolerant crops ಯಾವ್ದಪ್ಪ drought tolerant crops? Millets. Then ಜೋರ ಮಾತಾಡೋ, ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋ. Advanced irrigation, micro irrigation. It has micro irrigation facilities. micro irrigation or precision irrigation ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. In that you can write drip, sprinkler. ನೀವು ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಇರಿಗೇಷನ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸೈಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಎರಡನ್ನು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕೆನಾಲ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ? ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್, ಚೆಕ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್, ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ನ ಚೆಕ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್, ಅದನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಚಾನಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಚಾನಲ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಕವರೇಜ್. ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್, ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಸ್, ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಫಸಲ್ ಬಿಮಾ ಯೋಜನಾ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಕ್ಲೌಡ್ ಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಬೇಕಾ? ಕ್ಲೌಡ್ ಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಡ್. ಮಳೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಕಣ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ, ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಲೋಕಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ, ಬಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬರಿಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನ ಮೇನ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರಿಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ನಾಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕರೇಜಿಂಗ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಲೋನ್ ವೇವರ್, ಸಾಲ ಮನ್ನಾ. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಸೂಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಕಡಿತ. ಲೋನ್ ವೇವರ್ ಸಾಲ ಮನ್ನಾ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿ 0% ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್. ಲೋನ್ ವೇವರ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇದು ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಟು ದಿ ಡ್ರಾಟ್, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಲೋನ್ ವೇವರ್ ಸಾಲ ಮನ್ನಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಡನ್? ನಿಮ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬರೀತಾ ಇರೋದು, ನಂದೇನ್ ಬರೀತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅಷ್ಟನಾ? ನೋಡೋಣ, ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಈ ಕೃಷಿ ಹೊಂಡ ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯೋದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. ಕೃಷಿ ಹೊಂಡ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ? ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್, ಲೈವ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಲೇಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ? ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದೇನಪ್ಪ? ಅಷ್ಟೇನಾ? ಸಾಕಲ್ವಾ? Recycling of water, is it a solution? Recycling of water, KC Valley project, Karnataka. How is it used for irrigation? KC Valley project ಗೊತ್ತಾ? KC Valley project of Karnataka ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ? Kormala Challagatta Valley and Karitare. It provides water to Kolar district. Kolar groundwater 1200, 1500 feet. And most of the crops are grown in Kolar. Horticulture crops. So water illal. So groundwater recharge used water. Used water that is being given for treatment. Primary treatment, secondary treatment through canals and channels and pipes, large pipes. So obviously groundwater will obviously rejuvenate. Groundwater rejuvenate obviously salt content if farmers can grow more crops. Okay. With respect to Karnataka, you can write that how smartly they are using. In Ethanol project diverting Netravati water to bring drinking water needs to West District Kappa. Netravati project. Netravati Tirugu Yojane, Nordkoli Salpa. Ethanol. Done. Next. Landforms due to fluvial erosion. Landforms due to fluvial erosion. What are landforms? What is fluvial action? Running water. Water erosion agalla. Okay, running water. Okay, fluvial means running water. Landforms formed due to fluvial action. Okay, so erosional landforms is the depositional landforms. There will be diagram you have to study. We'll explain you. Okay, hold on. Now, the landforms which are created by running water are called landforms which are created by running water are called fluvial landforms. Full stop. Example, valleys, ಕಣಿವೆಗಳು, valleys, delta. Delta ಏನು ಕರೀತಾ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ? Delta. ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ? Next, Oxbow Lake. Oxbow Lake, etc. There are three processes. There are three processes. There are three processes which are involved in creation of fluvial landforms. Creation of fluvial landforms. These are first one, erosion. Second one, transportation. Third one is deposition. What do you mean by erosion? Erosion. That's soil erosion. Removal of top layer of soil is called as soil erosion. Erosion soil in the negative due to water. Degradation of land surface. Degradation, aggradation ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ scientific terminology ಅದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು scientific geography vocabulary use ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ soil erosion is a common term ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ so erosion means degradation of land high land ಇರೋದು erode ಆಗಿ flat ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ eroded this part has been eroded degradation what do you mean by transportation movement of sediments from one place to another with action of running water wind ice transportation deposition means deposition aggradational process aggradation means what conversion of low land to high land ಹಳ್ಳ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅವಾಗ ಮಣ್ಣೆಲ್ಲ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ that is aggradation conversion of low land to high land aggradational process okay we have all studied this different methodologies ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ abrasion intrusion ಇಷ್ಟನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಓದಿದೀವಲ್ಲ next basic terminologies I think you will be knowing the difference between vertical erosion and lateral erosion erosion alli how the rivers erode NPDA I said you what do you mean by vertical erosion ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು lateral erosion ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಬರೀರಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಏನು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ತಿರುಗಿಸ್ ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ದಿರೋದು erosion of river bed vertical erosion vertically erode ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ water is flowing isn't it so what is the difference between river bed and river bank river bed ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ bottom layer of the river bed vertical erosion vertically it is being eroded erosion of river bed is known as vertical erosion or channel vertical erosion erosion of river bed or channel bed is called vertical erosion it leads to deepening of valleys ಹೆಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ it leads to deepening of valleys second one lateral erosion it is erosion of river bank alva bank of the river Himalayan rivers how are they formed through vertical erosion peninsular rivers via lateral erosion lateral erosion means erosion of river banks river bank ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಆ ಸೈಡ್ ಈ ಸೈಡ್ ಜಾಗ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ lateral erosion leads to widening of valleys subheading erosional landforms what are the erosional landforms erosional landforms erosional landforms we'll see how running water erodes and creates landforms first one valleys note down valleys start with narrow and small rills valleys start with narrow and small rills comma it becomes long and form wide gullies full stop it further deepens It further deepens and forms valley. It further deepens and forms valley. How valleys are formed? Valleys nodidira kanive takidya river flow ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ takidya river will be flowing on the surface of the rock takidya so ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ small birk ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡುತ್ತಲ್ಲ rills ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Okay, it can be even mud also, mud layer also. Small rills and small gaps. So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ with the force of water, running water, what will happen? It creates rills. Rills are centimeters long ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಥವಾ centimeters gap ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, then again with the action of running water, it widens and deepens to form gullies ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Okay, rills ಆಮೇಲೆ gullies ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Gullies are nothing but their length varies from 5 to 10 meters actually. Gap ಅಷ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? And further it widens to form valleys. Okay, note on there subheading types of valleys. Types of valleys: V-shaped valley types. V-shaped valleys, gorges, canyon. V-shaped valley, gorges. Canyon valley. Sometimes you'll have U-shaped valleys also. V-shaped or U-shaped valleys. Types. Valleys are nothing but gaps through which the river water flows. Okay. Can be V-shaped, it can be gorges. Gorges, ನೆನಪಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ bro? Have you studied gorges? Indus, Brahmaputra, they enter the India through deep gorges. Okay. How V-shaped valleys form? Rock surface, water flow ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? This rocks tend to break. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? Leading to formation of V-shaped valley like this. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ rocks ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Erode ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Okay, and what do we mean by gorge? The valley is top ಮತ್ತೆ bottom same ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಲೆಂತ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? We call it as gorges. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ಮೇಕೆದಾಟು ನೆನಪಿದ್ಯಾ? ಮೇಕೆದಾಟು is also a gorge. ಮೇಕೆದಾಟು ನೋಡಿದೀರಾ? ಮೇಕೆದಾಟು the river through which the Kaveri enters the Tamil Nadu. A place where that is also a gorge. Deep valley ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. The bottom ಎಷ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೋ upwards ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ valley. Okay, same length. Okay, what do you mean by canyon? Canyon upper courses ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Wider ಇರುತ್ತೆ canyon. Grand Canyon of America. ಅಥವಾ Colorado River, Chambal, these are all canyons. ಮತ್ತೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದು it clear. Next, valleys. Note on there, gorge ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Gorge, gorge is a deep valley. Gorge is a deep valley with steep straight sides. with steep, straight sides. Full stop. Next point. Gorge has equal width from top to bottom. From top to bottom. From top to bottom. Next point, canyon. Next subheading, star aki canyon. It has a steep side. It has a steep side, but not as straight as the gorge. But not as straight as the gorge. Not as straight as the gorge. Next point. Tops are wider than the bottoms. Top part. Tops are wider than the bottom. Here. Next one. Portholes and plunge pools. Erosional platforms ivella. Second one. Portholes. T-O-T-H-O-L-E-S and plunge pools. Portholes and plunged pools. Don't get confused with the terminologies. These are all easy only. When water is flowing through a hard rock surface, okay, when we have a circular depressions like this, these are known as portholes. Running water, because of it, depression create small hole. You can have n number of plunge pools. Sorry, portholes. Sorry, you can have n number of portholes. So, sun rock sun kallugal with the action of the running water. Every time running water it tends to widen. Sun hole large holes. That is known as portholes. Any doubt? Circular depressions on the hard rock surface is known as portholes. Okay. And what do we mean by plunged pool? Plunged pool, for example, we have a waterfall. Water built the waterfall. So at the bottom of the waterfall, what will happen? Waterfall. At the bottom, water, because of force of running water, depression created below the land. That is known as plunged pool. Portholes and plunged pools. On the rock surface, it is called as portholes. Okay. At the bottom of the waterfalls, we call it as plunge pool. Okay. Note down that. Portholes. On rocky beds. On rocky beds. On rocky beds. The running water creates circular depressions. The rocky beds, running water creates circular depressions known as portholes. The diagram want you can write down the diagram. Portholes. Plunge pools. Plunge pools. Large and deep holes. Large and deep holes at the base of the waterfall. At the base of the waterfall is called plunge pool. Plunge pool. Clear? Third one, meanders and Ox Bollocks. Both are different. Meanders. Meanders and Ox Bollocks. A diagram for your reference. Okay, for better understanding, go through Google images. Okay, Portholes and the Kota will have a number of images. It will have better memory. You will have better memory. What do you mean by meanders? It is very common in Himalayan rivers. Okay, oxbow lakes are also common there. Rapid twists and turns in the river is known as meanders. Rapid twists and turns. Okay, yeah. So it's usually found on the plain area, not on the plateau area. Okay, it is found in the plain areas. Rapid twists and turns. How tarange? River flows like this. This is known as meanders. Rapid twist and turn. Why will it happen? Why will it happen? When the slope is gentle or slope is less on the correct. Okay, Himalayan mountains just imagine. Okay, they run from the mountains to the bottom of the hills, and before reaching the ocean, which is a sea which Ganga drains, Bay of Bengal, isn't it? So what is the condition there? It has got gentle slope. That is more force from the mountains, but the slope is very less. A force that will running water force will tend to move in as a twist and turns. Gentle slope is direct but since slope is very gentle, it takes U-turns. Twists and turns, just like a snake. These are known as meanders. These are known as meanders. Okay, so river while flowing through this, it will deposit different amount of sediments, alluvial sediments. Babar, Kadar, Bangar, NPDA, deposit ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ in due course of time, for example ನೋಡಿ twist ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ, angle ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, it tend to cut off ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ tend cut ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, it will become ox bow lake. For example ಈ ತರ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಬರ್ತಿರೋದು ಹಿಂಗೆ ox bow lake ಹಿಂಗೆ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಇದು, but river changes its course. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದು ವಾಟರ್, it will suddenly go like this. So again ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, this path will tend to cut off. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? So it will form a oxbow lake. Oxbow ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಎತ್ತಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವ oxbow, ಆ ತರ lakes form ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. This is known as oxbow lake. Is it clear? You want, you can note the diagram. It is very common in Himalayan rivers. Oxbow lake ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? The cut off part from the meander is known as oxbow lake. NCRTC will find diagrams. River Jhelum meandering through Srinagar city. Srinagar ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ನದಿ ಹರಿಯೋದು? Jhelum. Okay, we'll have the diagrams. ನೋಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೌಂಡ್ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. All the Himalayan rivers form meanders, not peninsular rivers. Okay, oxbow lakes. Very important for KPSC landforms. Okay, yeah, 2014 they had asked a question. 15, sorry. Explain the landforms. Erosional landforms caused by running water. When the river water, when the river water flows over gentle slopes, the river water flows over gentle slopes, comma, because of active lateral erosion, comma, because of active lateral erosion or lateral erosion, it develops meandering courses. Meandering courses. The rivers, when it enters the plain area, the rivers, when it enters the plain areas, it twists and turns. It twists and turns, forming large bends. Forming large bends known as meanders. Let's stop. Next point. Due to continuous erosion and deposition, due to continuous erosion and deposition along the sides of meanders, along the sides of meanders, comma, loops come closer. Loops come closer. Full stop. The loops cut off from the river. The loops in due course of time. The loops in due course of time cut off from the river. Cut off from the river and form cut off lake. And this lake is known as Ox Bow Lake. This lake is known as Ox Bow Lake. If you want further diagram, note down this. Yenappa. If you want, you can note down this. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Here, next, fourth one. River terrace. River terrace. River terrace. Paired, unpaired. Now done there. What time back now? The river terrace is basically the outcome of the river terrace is basically the outcome of vertical erosion. Vertical erosion. Full stop. They may be bedrock surfaces. They may be bedrock surfaces without any alluvial cover. Without any alluvial cover or stream deposits. Full stop. The terrace is resulted due to receding water, receding RECEDING, receding water after peak flow. After peak flow. Full stop. That note down. The same erosion on either side of the river. The same erosion on either side of the river is called paired terrace. Is called paired terrace. Full stop. Next point. Next point. When the terrace is present, not only, when the terrace is present only on one side of the stream, only on one side of the stream with not matching the level of the other side, with not matching the level of other side is called non-paired terrace. You must have seen ನದಿ ತಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಳಿತಾ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇರತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿದೀರಾ ಆಳಕ್ಕೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಾವು ಉಳ್ಕೋಗ್ತೀವಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾರಿಕೇಡ್ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡಿದೀರಾ ನೇತ್ರಾವತಿ ಈ ಕಡೆ ನದಿಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನು these are called terraces. Why terraces will happen means it's erosional platform means, for example, when the water is in the peak flow, no full river full agide antandage enagutte, river will be flowing till this level, isn't it? So water recede ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ತಾನೆ, with beyond based on the seasons water will also recede, isn't it? So ಈ level ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, this part will be eroded, this lateral erosion ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ this part. So ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು 1 month ಈ level ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹರಿತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, it will erode this bank laterally, isn't it? I mean, next further in water flow in the kadme adaga it recedes to this level, and the water is flowing at that level, it will erode this bank. Okay, it creates paired terraces. You are full adage full ಖಾಲಿ ಆದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಏನಾಗೋದು ಈ ತರ paired terraces ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? terraces ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? paired like equal erosion on both the sides idaga we call it as paired terraces. Okay, then only one side is being subjected to erosion means it is called unpaired terrace. Nodi, for example, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ hard rock ಇದೆ, it is not being eroded, but here this side here soft rock, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ erosion ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ erosion ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ because it is very hard. That means it is unpaired, pair ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? Is it clear? Any doubt? Next one. Waterfall. Waterfall. Fifth one alla waterfall. Waterfalls erosion ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. Not on there. When the river falls from soft rock to hard rock, soft rock to hard rock, it forms a waterfall. How waterfall is created? How waterfall is created? How waterfall is created? Waterfall in create agutte. For example, we have a mountain river is flowing like this, and we have a natural waterfall, isn't it? Natural waterfall irta. Okay, this is natural waterfall, but we have hard rocks on either side. Stuck idea. So ile enagutte, soft rock irutte, adakide in between soft rock adakide. So river is flowing like this, so soft rock will be eroded, okay, leaving behind the hard rocks like this. Then the water will flow downwards. That is known as ಈ ಮೌಂಟೇನ್ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಅವನು ವಾಟರ್ಫಾಲ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದೀರಾ? when you travel to Western Ghats, you will find waterfalls in between the mountains or in the middle of the mountains. This one first example is when water falls on top of the mountain. Not everywhere you will find this. Okay, in middle of the mountains we will have this other type. ನೋಡಿದೀರಾ? So why the water falls there? River ತರ flow ಆಗ್ದಿರಾ? Why is falling? Because it is flowing from soft rock towards the hard rock. That's why it will be having elevation. Saita. Next one, braided channel. Braided channel. Sixth one, ಇದೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ತೂಗುಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? Sixth one, braided channel. Very important. More commonly found in Brahmaputra. Note down the number of separate channels of water. The number of separate channels of water flow due to lateral erosion the number of separate channels of water flow due to lateral erosion. Braided channel ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ how do you expect a river to flow? River bank. Here also river bank ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಕಾಮನ್ ಇನ್ ಗಂಗಾ ನೋಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಪೆನಿನ್ಸುಲರ್ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ when the slope is gentle, the same river splits into different channels like this. Channels, different channels ಏನಾಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, it will split. This is known as braided channel, most common in ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಪುತ್ರ ಬೇಸಿನ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಸೊ ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್ ಎರೋಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಡೆಪಾಸಿಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ವಾಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೇನ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಇಂಟು ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಚಾನಲ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ಬ್ರೇಡ್? ಬ್ರೇಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಜಡೆ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಬ್ರೇಡ್. ಬ್ರೇಡ್ ಹಾಕೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಜಡೆ ತರ ಅದ್ರ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಹರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ವೇವಿ ತರ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಬ್ರೇಡೆಡ್ ಚಾನಲ್ಸ್ ಈ ತರ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಇಂಟು ಮೆನಿ ಚಾನಲ್ಸ್, ಬ್ರೇಡೆಡ್ ಚಾನಲ್ಸ್. ಹಂಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಗೆ ಬ್ರಾಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲಿ ಇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲಿ? ಐಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ Assam island district Majuli ನೋಡಿದೆ ನೆನಪಿದ್ಯಾ? Majuli island district which has been formed by the deposits brought by the Brahmaputra river. Okay, largest first island district of India. Okay, 90 km square area ಇದೆ. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, if you look at the highly flooded ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಸ್ಸಾಂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾನು like higher places ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಕೆಳಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಬೂನ ಡಿಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ ರೈಸ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಪೀಕ್ ಫ್ಲೋ. ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ರಿಸೈಡ್ ಆಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೈಯರ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ರೇಡೆಡ್ ಚಾನಲ್ಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಟರಲ್ ಎರೋಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೋರ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಇಂಟು ದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಮೌಂಟೇನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ಸ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ. ಅಸ್ಸಾಂ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಪ್ಲೇನ್, isn't it? ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅವಾಗ ಸೆಡಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲಾಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲಿ ಐಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಟೂರಿಸಂ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಂಗ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಡ್ ದರ್. Any doubt on this? This completes erosional landforms. Take a break of 5 minutes and we'll be back. We'll study depositional landforms later. ಸರಿನಾ? ಹಿಂದೆ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್, ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಭಯಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಮಂಡ್ಯದ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಾ? ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿದ್ರು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಫಿಲ್ ಎಂಟಿನೆಸ್, ಇನ್ನ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು, ಇನ್ನ ಏನೋ ಬರೀಬೇಕು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಗಿವ್ ಮೋರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಮನ್. ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸರ್, ಇಸ್ ರಿಟನ್ ಬುಕ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಹಿಸ್ ನೇಮ್. ಅವರೇ ಬುಕ್ ಕೂಡ ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 250 marks alva, and it is one of the most scoring if you write properly. Ethics ali 170 180 ella score madodu KS, only in KS I am telling. 2014 ali 200 ella score madidare. Ethics and essay are game changers actually. Okay, level playing field iga, no optionals alva. Optionals illa, KPSC KS alla optionals illa, so everybody will be having same paper. Optionals idre okay, ಒಂದು optional edge irutte anbodagitte. Or Kannada literature, if you take that optional, or rural development, if you take that optional, and again, you will have an edge. You get more marks. Last time in anthropology people, they got around 400, 390, 400 bandittu. RD people, they never got more than 340. So look at the difference, 70 marks, 60 marks difference agoytu namge. So all anthro people first 10, 12 ranks, assistant commissioners adavaru ellanu they took anthropology optional. 15 batch. Ade 14 batch ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. None of the anthropology people got selected because of strict evaluation. Scaling illa illi. Sakadya? So which makes you into the list is only ethics paper and essay paper. Ethics alli, sorry, ethics first you will get around more than 180, 170, write properly. You will also get 100. Sakadya? So ivaga for example GS ಮತ್ತೆ GS 1, 2, 3 ನಲ್ಲಿ different lot of variations ಏನಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Hardly 10, 15 marks variation. Maximum 20, 25. But in essay and ethics you will have difference of more than 50 marks. Okay, they are scoring 150 is like the best in essay. Good marks. Concentrate on that also, because 250 marks alva. And one more thing is these papers require less time to prepare. Essay and ethics, you need only skills. Ethics once sati odbitre mugite kate, but application part ashtane aರ್ಥಾಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ, and it takes less time to study. So when compared to other GS1, if you look at KS syllabus, it's like one year ಓದ್ಬೋದು ಅದನ್ನ. ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅರ್ಥಾಗ್ತದೆ. GS1 you can never complete, but ethics you can easily complete. If you sit properly for 1 month, you can prepare for ethics for both for KPSC and UPSC. Okay, complete that syllabus first. Ethics, concentrate on it and keep writing 1 or 2 questions daily. Reverse engineering ಗೊತ್ತಾ? What do you mean by reverse engineering? Reverse engineering ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Engineers, you should answer me. What do you mean by reverse engineering? ನಗ್ತಾರ ನೋಡೋರು. ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡಕ್ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಮ್ಮನೇನ ಕೇಳ್ಬೇಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲೇನಾ? What are the function of engineers? To develop a product. For example, mechanical engineers, well efficiency ಇರೋ ಒಂದು ಇಂಜಿನ್ ನ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಸೊ ಏನು ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಹೋಗೋದು. ಇಂಜಿನ್ ತೆಗೆದು ಏನೇನಿದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು. That is how companies work ಅಲ್ವಾ. Audi, Benz ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಯಾವ್ದು ರಾಯಲ್ ಎನ್ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಂಜಿನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಚೆಕ್ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಏನೇನಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾವ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ವೆಲ್, ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮೀ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಈಸಿಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ವೇ ಟು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್. ಗೋ ಟು ಸರ್ಟನ್ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್, ಟೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್. ಡೈಲಿ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್, ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ 10 ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಬರೆದಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾಪಿ ದೆಮ್, ಲರ್ನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದೆಮ್. ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡೋದಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, learn from them. I used to do this. Okay, first complete the classes first. Okay, have one standard book. Okay, and for examples, flow charts and diagrams, study this reverse engineering method. Go to certain websites, take the questions, answers ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು post ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. you will not get answers, but in websites you will get. We not have to tell you specifically. So one question around 20-30 questions irutte. Read all those 30 questions. You will get certain points. You can include it in your answers. So use this method. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡೋದು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಪ್ಪ. Apply it. Next is depositional landforms of running water. Depositional landforms. After erosion, the sediments will be transported and it will be deposited. While deposition, which kind of landforms are formed? Okay, that first one, alluvial fans. Alluvial fans. Alluvial fans, note down. Alluvial fans are formed when a alluvial fans are formed when a stream flow from high gradient to low gradient. Stream loads become too heavy. Stream loads become too heavy to carry over the gentler gradient, and gets dumped as cone-shaped deposits called alluvial fans. River water, as they flow through the mountains, they bring the sediments, boulders, big rocks. So sediments as it reaches the place, what will happen? It has to deposit alva. So it comes and deposit as a cone stapled platform. That is known as alluvial fan, most common in hilly areas. Okay, is it clear? Alluvial fans. Next one. Floodplains. Along the river, along the rivers, the floodwaters deposit ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರ ಇದು ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗಿರ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡು deposit layers of fine soil called sediments. Full stop. This flat fertile land is called floodplain. Full stop. Large sized materials are deposited first. Large sized materials are deposited first. When the river enters into gentler slopes, and fine sized materials like sand, silt and clay usually deposit over the bed during flooding. Flat layer of soil around the river banks is known as floodplain. Great Plains of India. Floodplains. These are known as Great Plains of India. These soils are highly fertile for growing different crops, sugarcane and paddy. Okay. Floodplains artha agidya. Next, third one, leaves. ಮುಂದೆ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Fourth, deltas. Leaves. Leaves. Note down. L-E-E-V-E-S. Sorry, L-E-V-E-S. L-E-V-E. Sorry. Wait, where is this? Leaves. Note down there. Raised banks are called Raised banks are called leaves. Raised banks are called leaves. Full stop. Natural leaves are found along. Natural leaves are found along with the banks of larger river. Natural leaves are found along with banks of larger river. Full stop. They are low, comma, linear and parallel ridges. They are low, linear and parallel ridges of coarse deposits. Coarse deposits. When sediments are deposited as a flat base, we call it as a floodplain. Floodplain anta kariತೀವಿ. But along the banks of the river, we have localized lumps, heaps anta kariತೀವಿ. Gudde ತರ. Sediments block ಆಗಿರೋದು we call it as leaves. Okay, raised banks anta kariತೀವಿ. Okay, bank is nothing but ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ river area. Okay, raised banks, heaps of silt. Okay, they are not deposited as a flat base, but instead they are deposited in the form of heaps. Gudde ತರ. Okay, that is known as leaves. Last one, delta. What do you mean by delta? Deltas are like alluvial fans. Deltas are like alluvial fans, but develops at the mouth of the river. But develops at the mouth of the river. The load carried by the river. The load carried by the river is dumped. The load carried by the river is dumped and spread along the sea. Is dumped and spread along the sea. Near the river mouth or near the mouth of the river. Near the mouth of the river. The water flow begins to break up into. The water flow begins to break up into number of streams. Number of streams called distributaries. Distributaries, full stop. Each distributary forms its own mouth. Each distributary forms its own mouth, the collection of sediments, the collection of sediments from all the mouth forms a delta. Schedule distributaries when many rivers join the main river, and these are called as tributaries. So at the end of the river, what will happen? The river spreads into different branches. These are known as distributaries. This part is known as mouth of the river. This entire thing is called delta. Highly fertile land. Okay, because why? The sediments before flowing into the sea will be deposited on this land. Okay, we'll have land part here. Krishna Godavari Basin, Brahmaputra Delta, okay, Kaveri Delta, or different deltas. Is it clear? Any doubt in this? If you have any doubts, go through Google Images. I think will be clear. Okay, so erosional landforms. Can you remember erosional landforms? What are the erosional landforms caused by fluvial action? Erosional landforms there. Huh? Valleys, V-shaped valley, U-shaped valley, gorges, canyons. Then portholes and plunge pools, isn't it? Then meanders and ox bollocks. Fourth one, huh? River terraces, paired and unpaired river terraces. Then waterfalls. Then huh? Braided channels. Braided channels are also important. Then depositional landforms, alluvial fan at the base of the mountain. Then we have delta at the end of the river. And we have floodplains and leaves. Is it clear? Next topic. Landforms caused by Aeolian action. More prominent in deserts. These things you may not know. For example, waterfalls. These things are less common to you, but don't get confused. It became difficult for me to teach you. It will be difficult for me to teach you. Next, note down. Landforms caused by Aeolian action. Aeolian landforms. These are also known as wind eroded landforms. Wind eroded landforms. Wind eroded landforms. Wind is the main agent of erosion. In hot deserts. In hot deserts. Full stop. Winds in hot deserts have greater speed. Winds in hot deserts have greater speed, which causes erosional and depositional activities in the desert. The landforms which are created by the action of wind, landforms which are created by the action of the wind are known as Aeolian landforms. First, new terms don't get confused, okay? Erosional landforms. That first one, pediplains. 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 Note down there. In the high relief structure in the deserts, the deserts are reduced to low, featureless plain, low, featureless Yes, plain. By the activities of wind. By the activities of wind. Known as pediplains. Pediplains. Wind erosion is most dominant in deserts. Okay, why? Because deserts we have loose sand. Okay, it is easier for transportation. Okay, that's why wind landforms or erosional and depositional landforms are most visible in the hot deserts. Okay, so first one is pediplain. Okay, pediplain means the entire land area is being eroded. Okay, for example, it consists of around hundreds of squares of kilometers of area. Okay, entire land, for example, on desert area, some meters of sand. Okay, this entire thing is eroded and converted into fine plain, featureless plain. This plain is known as pediplain. Okay, entire plain, high relief is converted into low relief with action of wind. That is known as pediplain. Next, second one, deflation hollows. Deflation hollows. Deflation NPDA. Deflation. What do you mean by deflation? Small grains of sand will be directly carried away by the wind. Deflation, lifting up of the sand dunes. Okay, note down there. Deflation is the removal of loose particles. Deflation is the removal of deflation is the removal of loose particles from the ground by the action of wind. Okay, so when deflation causes a shallow depression, deflation causes a shallow depression, by persistent movement of wind, we call it as deflation hollows. Deflation hollows. See, land area small depressions. Deflation ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ. Deflation means carrying away of the sand particles. Okay, so wind is blowing and it is taking away small amount of sand from the land surface, causing a depression. That is known as deflation hollow. ಈ safari ನೋಡಿದೀರಾ? Safaris, deserts safaris ನೋಡಿದೀರಾ? You'll have that SUVs ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. You must have proper seat belts there. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? Why there is that is deflation hollow. Deflation hollow ಇಳಿತಾರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Clear? Deflation hollow. Next, third one, mushroom table or mushroom rock. Mushroom table or mushroom rock or rock pedestal. Third one, rock pedestal. Note down. A mushroom rock, also called rock pedestal. Mushroom rock, also called rock pedestal, is a naturally occurring rock. Is a naturally occurring rock whose shape resembles mushroom. The wind erodes the wind erodes the lower portion of the rock. The wind erodes the lower portion of the rock, leaving the upper portion intact, leading to the formation of mushroom-like structure. You have a rock. Wind is blowing to a particular level. Okay, so it is carrying sand particles. Lower part is being eroded because of the action of the wind. Still erode agi it is forming a mushroom like structure. Bottom portion matra erode agirodu, but leaving the upper portion intact. This type of erosion leads to formation of mushroom rock. Mushroom shape of mushrooms. This is most common in Sahara. Mushroom rocks in Sahara. Sand particles at bottom of the sand column. Lower portion has been eroded by the action of the sand. Okay, but leaving the upper portion intact. Upper portion of the rock hange irutte. They are leaving the eroding the lower part into formation of mushroom rock. Clear? Next, Inselberg. Selberg. Fourth one. Selberg. Note down. Selberg is a Selberg is an isolated hill. Is an isolated hill or small mountain that rises abruptly from a gently sloping or virtually level surrounding plane. Virtually level surrounding plane. These are nothing but at the corners of the deserts you find Insel Birds, that is mountain areas. Small mountains, but it has been eroded badly. Small mountains, it has been eroded badly. These are known as Insel Birds. Small mountain, but erode with the action of wind. It has become smooth surface. These are known as Insel Birds. Next, demoiselles. 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 These are rock pillars. These are rock pillars which stand as resistant rocks. These are rock pillars which stand as resistant rocks. Demoiselles ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೌಂಟೇನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಲೋಪ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Demoiselles ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಂಟೈರ್ಲಿ ಫುಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ರಾಕ್ಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರೋಡ್ ಆಗೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋನ್ ಆಸ್ demoiselles. Terminologies are new, don't get confused, okay? ಇದೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಎಸ್ಸಾ? ಯಾರು ಎಸ್ ಅಂದಿದ್ದು? ಮುಖಗಳು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಇದ್ದೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಝ್ಯೂಗನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಯಾರ್ಡನ್ಸ್. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್, ಝ್ಯೂಗನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಝೆಂಗನ್ಸ್. ನಿಮಿಷ. Zyugans and Yardungs. ಏನು 5th 6th one? Zyugans. Zyugans have layers of hard and soft rocks. Have layers of hard and soft rocks. Layers of hard and soft rocks horizontally. Wind abrasion eats up soft rocks having hard rocks intact. Having hard rocks intact. Having hard rocks intact. Full stop. Zyugans have flat base. Zyugans have flat base. Horizontally nodili hard layer, soft layer, hard layer, soft layer agide. This is a rock actually. With the action of wind, how it has been abrased. So hard layers hange ide, but soft layers have been eroded. Hard layers are kept intact, but soft layers have been eroded. This leads to formation of a certain structure known as zeugans. This question has been asked many times. I think 2 to 3 times they have asked, especially in PSI paper. Okay, where do we find zeugans? Okay, desert areas, or zeugans are formed by the action of wind. Direction of wind nodiyalli zeugans. Usually they will have flat base. Difference between mushroom rock or rock pedestal and ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? Mushroom rocks ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, lower part has been eroded, leaving the upper part intact. But in zeugans, it consists of alternative layers of hard and soft rocks. Diagrams are very important. ನೀವು Google Maps ನೋಡ್ಬಿಡಿ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? It'll be easier for you. Zeugans. ಇದೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆನಾ? ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Clear? Last one. Yardans. Seventh one. Yardans. Similar to zeugans, but in a different way. These have hard and soft rocks. These have hard and soft rocks which are arranged vertically. Which are arranged vertically. Which are arranged vertically. Then how has it transformed? Hard rock. In zeugans we have vertical arrangement, sorry, horizontal arrangement. Here we have vertical arrangement. We have a hard rock. This part has not been eroded, but soft rock part has been eroded. ಅದೇ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ರಾಕ್ ಹಾಗೆ ಇದೆ, ಅದೇ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ ರಾಕ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಷ್ಟೇ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಏನಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಲೋಪ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಹೈಟು ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಈ ತರ, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಯಾರ್ಡಂಗ್ಸ್. Direction of wind is important. ಆಯ್ತಾ? Have anyone chosen geography as your optional for UPSC? APSC optional ಇಲ್ಲ. Huh? Very KPSC now. Don't stick to one particular exam, man. Keep writing. Many have cleared KS, have also cleared UPSC. There is overlapping. High for greater exam will get settled for lower exam. First and second attempt or maximum third attempt, within 3 attempts you have to clear. Later it will become boring. Newspaper ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡು, it's not so easy, man. Give your best efforts. If you want to get settled, make it as a timeline within 3 years or maximum 5 years. Okay. After that, even your engineering degree will become waste. Will be out of the race, isn't it? Yeah. You can go to your coding job also. How many have left the job? Job bittu oda bandiroru. Graduation ಮುಗಿಸಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂದಿರೋರು. ಜಾಬ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಜಾಬ್ ಒಂದೆರಡು ವರ್ಷ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಂದಿರೋರು ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ. If you are a fresher means you'll get job easily, isn't it? After 5 years ಏನು gap ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. You might have lost so much of knowledge, so you'll not get job easily. Keep writing. Next exam ಯಾವಾಗ? Next prelims. UPSC ಬರೀತಿಲ್ವ ಯಾರು? Yes, ನಮ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ನಾವು ಬರ್ದಿರೋದು ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಎವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೂತಿರ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು? ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಫಾರ್ UPSC. ಹಾ, KPSC ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Sorry,
June 5 next UPSC prelims.
June 5th. When do we have mains? ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ, ಅದು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ KS ಓದ್ತಿರೋದಾ? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ KS ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಓದ್ತಿರೋದಾ? ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ನಾವು ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ದಿರೋದು, ಇನ್ನು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇದಾರೆ. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ದನ್ 6 months. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಬರೋರು ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಿವ್ UPSC prelims, isn't it, by a time? 6 months. ಏಜ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ಗೆ. ಸಡನ್ ಹಂಗೆ 30 ಮುಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರಿ ಏಜ್. ಸಾಕ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. ನಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು ನಿಂಗೆ ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನೋ ಹೌ ಟೈಮ್ ಪಾಸಸ್. ಮನೇಲಿ ಬಯಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಓದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಓದ್ತಿದೀವಿ, ರೂಪಾಯಿ ದುಡ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಡೋಂಟ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ಸ್. UPSC is marathon ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, it takes years in order to succeed. Clear? Next, depositional landforms. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಏನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಇದೆಯಾ? ವೆಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗುಡ್. ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. Depositional landforms. Note down. First one, ripple marks. Ripple marks. These are depositional features. These are depositional features on a small scale. On a small scale. Caused by turbulent flow of air. Plain area when wind flows abruptly, what will happen? ripple marks. It creates depressions, small depressions. ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೀಪ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಸೊ ಡಿಪ್ರೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಅಬ್ರಪ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಫ್ wind. What will happen? Small depressions all along the flow of the wind. Okay, these are known as, it appears like a marks ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಂಗೆ. So these are known as ripple marks. One note on the diagram. ಏನಪ್ಪ? Second one, sand dunes. Second one, sand dunes. Note down. Sand dunes are heaps or sand dunes are heaps or mounds. Heaps or mounds of sand. Sand found in deserts. Generally, their height vary from few meters to 20 meters. Full stop. There are different kinds of sand dunes. There are different kinds of sand dunes. That first one, birchens. That first one, birchens. Second one, parabolic dunes. Birchens, parabolic dunes. What are birchens? Note down there. Crescent shaped dunes. Crescent, Chandrakar. Crescent, CRESCENT. Crescent shaped dunes. Crescent shaped dunes. The windward side is convex. The windward side is convex, whereas leeward side is concave. Crescent shaped sand dunes means good after mounds of sand. It takes different shapes actually. So this is first one is birchens. Birchens are nothing but crescent shaped Chandrakara. Crescent shaped dunes. Okay, so that is on the windward side it is convex. On the leeward side it is concave. Okay, these are known as horns. These are known as horns. Depressions. Crescent shaped. Then parabolic dunes. These are U-shaped. These are U-shaped and much longer than Burchans. These are U-shaped and much longer than Burchans. Parabolic dunes. Parabolic dunes. Last one. Loess. Sand deposited by wind. Sand deposited by the wind. Beyond the limits of the desert. Beyond the limits of the desert. It is yellow in color. It is yellow in color and fertile. It's yellow in color and it is fertile. Example. Extensive loess deposits. Extensive loess deposits are found in northern China, the Great Plains of North America. The Great Plains of North America. Full stop. Loess often develops into extremely fertile often develops into extremely fertile agricultural soil. Agricultural soil. Is it clear? Sand, when it gets eroded beyond the limits of the desert and gets deposited on the normal land surfaces, we call it as that landform as loess. Okay, these are highly fertile, they mix up and used to grow crops. Any doubt in this? In 10 more minutes, we'll discuss few mains question. Not only questions, we'll discuss it here. Bring out the relationship between shrinking Himalayan glaciers and symptoms of climate change in Indian subcontinent. Symptoms of climate change in Indian subcontinent. How do you approach this answer? You'll have general basic understanding, isn't it? Shrinking Himalayan glaciers and symptoms of climate change. Is there any link? Analyze the question first. Do we have any relation with shrinking Himalayan glaciers and symptoms of climate change? The question asked here is Himalayan glaciers, shrinking Himalayan glaciers and climate change. Are we facing any issues because of these two? No. Nino gottu but bare baralala. Initial phases of answer writing. You know, but you don't know how to express. Okay, that makes you different candidate. That's why answer writing is important. You know, link but how do you link it? That is a skill. Okay. How do you approach this answer? Think for 2 minutes. $150 words. $150 words ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರಿಬೇಕು? Less than 150 na? Correct 150 na? Greater than 150 na? Greater ah? Huh? How many words should you write?
Not exceed.
I'll ನೋಡಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ not more than 150 words ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. The maximum is 150. So doesn't mean the minimum is 150. Okay, even if you write a good answer within 120 words, then it's well and fine. Okay, reduce your word limit, include more content. Okay, so how do you approach this answer? Online students, please be interactive. How do you start this answer? You know, Himalayas are called as a third pole. You know this fact, isn't it? Himalayas are called as third pole. First pole and second pole, Antarctic and Arctic. Third pole, nothing but Himalayas. We have lot of ice glaciers there, isn't it? So Himalayan glaciers, according to your report, if you have some data, include it. Data, add data. Okay, according to a certain report, by 2100, all the glaciers of the Himalayas will be vanished. There's a report actually. You can add some data. Okay, you know, global warming is taking at a faster pace. Then shrinking glaciers get sentence aita. Okay, Himalayas are called as third pole, and by the end of the century, that is by 2100, most of the glaciers in the Himalayas will be vanished or they will melt away. Okay, so how do you link here with climate change? Are you witnessing any change here? Obviously. Okay, so the floods are increasing in the Himalayan region. More ice melt and more water inflow and more floods are going to happen. Uttarakhand floods, cloud burst. So give the example. 2012 once Uttarakhand recently in 2021. You can add the years. Okay, Should add the years. ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Kerala floods ಯಾವ year? At least remember the years, okay? So 2012 and 2021 Uttarakhand floods are a direct witness of climate change. They are not directly telling that shrinking Himalayan glaciers then climate change ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಬೋದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Then link it with how climate change is melting the ice. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? So Earth is warming at a greater pace before industrial revolution and after industrial revolution. Okay, from 1700s ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿರೋದಲ್ವಾ after industrial revolution started. Okay, so climate change, what are the factors for climate change? Small ಬರ್ಬಿಡೋದು factors contributing to climate change. Which all the factors are contributing to the climate change? Greenhouse gas emissions. First ಅದೇ ಬರಿಬೇಕು. Greenhouse gas emissions ಅಲ್ವಾ climate change. Then which all factors ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ. ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಐಸ್ ಮೆಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ರೆ ಯು ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕ್ಲೈಮೇಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್? ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲೈಸೇಷನ್, industrial emissions,
Global warming, deforestation.
Industrial emissions. Global warming is a composite term. Global warming is contributing to climate change. The factors responsible for global warming. The first one is release of greenhouse gas emissions. Vehicular emissions. 3 to 4 major points. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಓಝೋನ್ ಡಿಪ್ಲೀಷನ್ ಅದು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಅದು ಬರೀ ಅದು ಪಕ್ಕಾ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಹೌ ಟು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಆ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಏನೇನಿದೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಏನೇನು ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಆಲ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಬೈ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. How to reduce global warming? One more she said, someone in the online class said deforestation. Initiatives are very important. Initiatives are ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫ್ಲೋ ಚಾರ್ಟ್ globally how world is taking initiatives and Indian initiatives ಬೇರೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? 3 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಾಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಪ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ ಕ್ಲೈಮೇಟ್ ಸಮಿಟ್ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀಬೋದಾ? ಪ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ ಕ್ಲೈಮೇಟ್ ಸಮಿಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅದಕ್ಕೇನು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸೋಲಾರ್ ಅಲೈಯನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಯಾ? ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಯೋಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ಸ್, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ಬಯೋಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ಸ್. Kigali agreement, very good. Kigali agreement to reduce emissions. ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಎಮಿಷನ್ ನಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಏನೇನೋ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಬರೀ. Kigali agreement legally binding ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅದು?
Legally binding.
It is very important. Legally binding means you have to bind for it. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ what can we write? ನೀವು ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ವಾ COP26 ನೆಟ್ ಝೀರೋ ಎಮಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದಾ? ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಇನ್ನೇನಿದೆಯಪ್ಪ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸೋಲಾರ್ ಅಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ಸ್, ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿನ್ಯೂವಬಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಮೋರ್ ಆನ್ ರಿನ್ಯೂವಬಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜೀಸ್, ಸೋಲಾರ್, wind, ocean thermal, geothermal energies. Apart from this, can you write answer with a beautiful answer? Brainstorming is important. Learn the skills. Any doubt in this? See you tomorrow.
Ma'am, if we reduce words, the score, it will affect the scores, ma'am?
No, never. It will never affect.
Okay.
Quality of answer is important than compared to quantity. Okay, quality matters. Quality is very important. Tomorrow we will study energy resources and we will wind up geography. Karnataka Amil. Karnataka 15 hours for geography.